to my channel. I know it's been quite a while since I filmed last. Actually, it's been since November, but there's a lot going on in my garden recently and getting prepared for the upcoming growing season. And so I thought today it'd be really fun to take you on a little tour of our backyard and just show you the different areas that I'll be growing in, and hopefully do this every month, maybe maybe in the depths of the growing season, maybe like weekly or something, just to see how things are coming along. I'm here in Washington State. I'm about 30 minutes away from Seattle, and we're in Zone 8B, and it's a lovely April day today, and it's like one of the nice days we're gonna have until, I don't know, probably the end of the month, because there's a lot of rain in the forecast. So I thought this would be the perfect day to take you along around the garden and show you what I have growing. Okay, so I'm going to start off on our patio. We have this really beautiful pergola that used to have a gorgeous wisteria growing on it, but the wisteria unfortunately died. We've got one little vine that has grown up, but I think I'm just going to take it out and hopefully something will resprout and maybe we can have another wisteria on it again. But my husband redid this top portion last summer, and I think it looks really great. So we have this. This is Baxter. I think you met him in the last one. He doesn't like when I'm out here without him, but for now, he's fine inside. But I have this pot next to the sliding glass door, and it's got some ranunculus that I bought at the garden center that's nearby. They're just beautiful. They're coming into bloom, and I really love the way they look in this pot, and I love that I can just come right out the door and see beauty. And then over here, my dad got me this last year for my birthday, and it was full of like really pretty flowers. These look like chives, but I don't believe that they are. I think they're just a decorative thing, and it looks like something is coming back, but I'm going to need to figure out what to do with this pot. And then yesterday I just planted one of my marigold seedlings into that one. It looks like it needs to be topped up with a little bit of soil, but we'll see. And then over here, actually, in this area in the springtime, there's a ton of crocus, but that time has passed now, unfortunately. But that's one of my favorite times of the year, when they're all sprouted. And then I've got some other flower seedlings out. I've got some several types of zinnias here. There's some cosmos, and then calendula as well here, and then some more marigolds that I'm going to try and keep in here until I can get my tomatoes out, but they're already pretty root bound in those little cells, so we'll see. And then another ranunculus in this little pot here. So beautiful. I've got some pots out here. I've got an English lavender, and then there's some mint that's coming back in this little terracotta pot, and then I have my strawberry terracotta pot that I got last year, which I totally love. And then I've just got some other this one has some spearmint in it. I believe this little one has some mint coming back, but not very much, so I think I'm just going to empty that and reuse it for something else. And then this pot doesn't have anything except weeds growing in it right now. I'm thinking it might be like an herb pot, or put some more flowers in it. And then unfortunately I had another lavender, but it died, so I need to figure out what to do with this empty terracotta pot. And then we've got sage growing in here, and we have sage and some garlic chives growing in here. That sage plant actually used to take up the whole thing, and then I cut it back, but I think I may have cut it back a little too much, but hopefully it's gonna come back and be better than ever. But it's been struggling the last few years, so we'll see. And then right off the patio, we have this little garden bed. There's a beautiful blueberry plant in here that thrived last year, and it looks like it's gonna give us a bigger bounty of berries this year, so I'm really excited about that. We have some decorative grasses in here. I think there's a daylily also, and then we've got some tulips here, and it looks like they're about to bud or shoot up their little buds, and so hopefully they'll come back. But I've been reading a lot about tulips, and they're temperamental, and I'm not sure, especially this one right here in the middle. He hasn't done well the last few years, so anyway. But I used to have strawberries in here, but this area got so choked out with grass last year, so I took them out and I moved them, and I'll show you where I moved them. But I planted some dahlia tubers in here, and I don't know how great they were. I lost a lot of dahlia tubers over the winter. I don't think I stored them properly, or I didn't let them dry out properly. But if they don't come up, I'll either get some more dahlias, or I'll plant some more flower seeds here. I planted out a calendula start, yes. This beautiful like decorative grass here in the corner. And then I've planted out some cosmos here. My hope is that this area will just be full of beautiful flowers this summer. I've got some echinacea that's coming back, it looks like. Last year was the first year that I've ever had echinacea bloom for me. So I was really excited, and I love that it's a perennial that will come back year after year. And then I have my little bird bath that looks like it needs to be cleaned out. And then there's some other, I believe these are ranunculus that I planted like years ago, and now they're coming up all of a sudden, so fingers crossed I'll get some blooms off of those. And then I have some beautiful irises here. Those are orange, and then poppies that are gorgeous when they're in bloom. And I have some yarrow that's growing from an old wildflower packet that I bought a few years ago. And it's just, I feel like it's kind of a weed because it kind of took over. So I've had to like rip out a bunch. But this year I'm going to let a little bit of it grow and see what happens. And then I have I have a California poppy that's coming back up. It's like self-seeded. And then here's where I put my strawberries. I like having the strawberries right here on the patio because it's just easy to come and harvest in the morning when I want some for breakfast. There's one year, I had a banner year one year with the strawberries when they were over there. So I'm hoping that by moving them here that I'll have another banner year, and hopefully I can keep the weeds down from them. And then I have a peony here. Don't mind the circle, it was damaged last year, but this is a really beautiful pink, like bright pink peony, and I love that it's in this spot. I actually moved it from a different spot because I didn't know what it was, and I'm so happy that it's here. And then this is actually a new crocus that I bought this year, and it's done flowering now, but I feel like this will be a great spot for it and for years to come. So if you just follow the path here, it'll lead you to our raised bed garden. I have this rosemary bush that's been in this pot for quite a few years now. He's looked better, I'll be honest. I think I need to feed him, but he seems to like this spot, and it gets a lot of sun, so he's good. And then I have in-ground chives that I planted around the time that we moved in, and they have just done extremely well in this little spot. And then I have 2 more blueberry bushes. This one's doing really well. That one, he's looked better, but he's got a bunch of like buds on it for leaves, so I'm hoping that he'll be okay. He looks like he needs to be watered, and I probably should feed him as well. And then there's a little lavender bush down here. That's French lavender. And then, yeah, here is the raised bed area. I only have 2 beds that I grow vegetables in over here. I put up my trellis, and I've got 2 little peas planted over here in the corner, and then I'm hoping to plant some beans next to it. And then this trellis over here, I'm gonna try some cucumber, and I know that it's like a small space, but I'm hoping that because they'll all be trellis that it'll be okay. But the only other thing that's planted in here is some marigold starts. I have some parsley here, and then I have some cilantro that's sprouted along here, and dill over here in the corner. But I've also got dill and cilantro that are started inside the house too. So I haven't had a lot of luck with cilantro. So I started it earlier this year, but it tends to bolt because it doesn't like the heat. So, but anyway. And then in this I have arugula planted. I got great germination, but looks like we'll get a little bit. And then I'll probably clean it out, you know, once it's run its course, and we'll put some more lettuce in there. And then I have English thyme here, and a really beautiful oregano that's coming back. And then I have, this is a winter savory, and it was actually planted in here, but I decided that I wanted some space back, so I put it in this pot, and it looks like it's doing good. I was worried that I was going to kill it, but I can see new growth on it, and that's really promising. And then on this side I've got 2 more plants of thyme. I'm pretty sure this is English thyme as well. And then I've got some lemon thyme here that I don't think it likes this pot, so I might try and transplant it this year into something bigger. And then over here I've got some variegated oregano coming back, and then self-seeded chives over here. And then this other bed, I have some garlic that was in our kitchen a few weeks ago, and it was starting to sprout, so I just threw it out here. I know you're supposed to plant garlic in the fall, but we'll see. And then I have some lettuce starts here, and there's a few bunching onion starts. And then this broccoli has actually been here since last fall, and I just did my first harvest on it the other day. You can see that on Instagram if you want. And then I planted some cilantro that's sprouting here, and then I have like 3 rows of radishes, like 2 full rows here, and then 1 or like 2 smaller rows there. And then next to it is carrots, and I've had trouble with carrot germination this year, but I see some little sprouts, which is very exciting. And then I planted some marigold starts there, and then over here I have 1 row of lettuce that's doing very well. So over under this tree we've got this gorgeous Japanese maple, but there's a lot of space that's shaded, and it's not going to be able to grow vegetables, but I think I want to get some more shade-loving plants, because right now it's just overgrown with dandelions. So I just want to make this area look a little better. It looks like there's some bulbs under there, so I don't know. Maybe I'll get some bulbs, maybe I'll get some shade-loving plants, and we'll fix this area up. That would be a really fun project. We have a fountain here with some boxwood around it, and it's just not looking great. I mean, this one isn't. This one we've had to replace several times. There's a bunch of moss and a bunch of grass around it that needs to be dealt with, so but hopefully we'll have the fountain up and running this summer as well. And then over here, this is along the back retention wall. This whole yard before we moved in, like the last owners had it all excavated, because it used to be like a little not level. It wasn't level. It was like a little hill, and them and the next door neighbor had it, the whole thing excavated so that it could be flat, and it's a really beautiful area. I'm so glad that they did that. But over here, we have another growing space. This year, I am planning in this empty space in the front to do a squash, because this place gets really good sun in the summer. But right now we have beautiful bunches of lilies that are coming in, and you know, I grow really good dandelions, guys. But if anyone knows what this is, it looks kind of nice, but I suspect it's a weed. So if anyone knows what it is, let me know, and I can either take it out or help it. But we've got a bunch of lilies coming in here, and they come up every summer, so it's so pretty. And then we've got foxgloves that have self-seeded. I've ripped some out, but I thought, you know, I think they're so pretty, so I left a bunch of the good, like, better looking plants in. And then I planted some cosmos back there, some calendula. I'll probably end up trying some more flowers as well, because once the lilies are done, like, the space really doesn't have a lot going, except for, if you know, the vegetables in the front. But I want to try and make it look beautiful all summer, so we'll see what happens. And then there's a hollyhock that's seen better days back here in the corner. And then this beautiful ornamental allium that has been thriving in this spot for the last 3 years. So I'm really excited for it to come into bloom, and it just adds a really cool piece to the garden. I just love it. And then to turn over here, I've got this little wine barrel that I bought a few years ago, and I usually put a tomato in it, so I planted a bunch of marigold starts around it, and then I have a bush variety tomato that I'm going to try in it this year. It gets great sun in this spot, so here's hoping we'll get a ton of tomatoes out of it. But yeah, the marigolds are a great companion plant for it. And then we have this little, we didn't always have the fire pit here, and I think we're going to be moving it. But it used to have, you know, this little bistro table here, and there's a clematis over here that hasn't done well in a long time. But it's probably because it's being choked out by grass. So I need to help it. And then we have a little succulent pot as well that does really well. And then I planted some lavender back here as well. I believe this is English lavender, and this area, this tree is relatively new. There used to be a magnolia tree here, but unfortunately it died. There's that area. But we were talking, my husband and I, about maybe adding like a flowering. I've got here some hyacinths, adding flowers here, and they're so beautiful. But as you can see, the grass is kind of taken over, so that will need to be dug when they come out. And then a few years ago, we this area created this. I'm glad it's got a bunch of leaves, because it's really just to add a little bit of more help with weeds, growing space. But this area usually gets really overrun with weeds, because it's not an area that we hasn't done well pay a bunch of attention to be honest. But hopefully, this year I added a bunch of, I think we mulch it, Omudu. be really good. So I'm hoping that it will thrive a little more this year. We need to add more organic matter, more I'm not really sure what the flower is. So far, it's looking great. They're really cute. I've got little yellow blossoms, a cattle panel trellis, and I didn't know if they would do well in the spot, but they've come back. There's sweet peas along that side that have actually started sprouting. There's new growth, so that's really exciting. Because I've never been able to get sweet peas to grow. So I'm in the corner. I've got two starts in the kitchen as well, in the garden window. And this beautiful they started sprouting, so I'm going to need to find a different spot for those. But I moved some strawberries here in the corner, there's sprouts and then so I planted some marigold starts that I had. This and then there's some more bunching onions here along the side. And then next to it is radishes. Beautiful. And next to that, again, I planted some carrots. And this tree is relatively new. There used to be a magnolia tree here, but unfortunately it died. But we were talking, my husband and I, about maybe adding like a flowering. And then next to that is another row of cilantro that sprouted. And then I've got more rows of lettuce and then a row of kale, so that'll need to be dug up. And then a few years ago, some lettuce starts that I started in the house. Garden bed. And there's some just to add a little bit of more growing space here. And that I started in the house hasn't done well, to be honest. And I'm planning on putting a nasturtium this year. I added a bunch of what they call mildew. I added these. I'm hoping that it will thrive a little more. There's a clematis. We need to add more. There's actually a clematis compost to it, but so far it's looking great. I've got a cattle panel trellis, and I planted peas along it, and then there's sweet peas along that side that have actually started sprouting, which is really exciting. There's another lilac tree back there. I've never so this summer I was sweet peas to grow. Putting so I'm some like a wildflower mix. I've got two starts in the kitchen as well, in the garden window. I just would love more flowers. They started sprouting, so I'm gonna need to find a different spot for those. But I moved some strawberries here in the corner, and then I planted some marigold starts that I had, and then there's some more bunching onions. This area is very shaded, and then next to it is radishes. But we have beautiful next to that again shade-loving plants back here, and carrots. This poor hydrangea that needs to be. I need to deadhead it. If you can see them. It's hanging in there. There's a little green, but we'll see. I need to take. And then next to that is another row of cilantro that sprouted. Looks like it's got a bunch. And then I've got more rows of lettuce, and then a row of kale. Need to deadhead it. And some lettuce starts that I started in the house, and there's some red bulbing onions bleeding yesterday. Here. But we've got I started in the house this beautiful 2 boxes here, and I'm planning on putting here a nasturtium. There's poppies, but I want to add some more irises from my dad's garden here. And yeah, we're back to the patio. I forgot to say, here on each side there's a clematis, and this one has really pretty purple flowers, and then this one has white flowers. And then you can't really see them, but we've got lilies that grow up. They get really tall, so we're gonna need to cut this fern back a little bit. But yeah, so that's the garden, and I'm hoping that you'll see a lot more of it as the season progresses. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a great day, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye.